come then. Right, now we're going to start off with something that's very steeped in jazz history. But I won't tell you what it is because you'll know right away. Right. Yeah. Right. Very good. Let's get this. Let's get rid of this now. Let's put this down here, right.
Give yourself an injury.
Well, that's right, yes, yes. What did Oscar Wilde say about the banjo? A gentleman is a person who owns a banjo but chooses not to play it. There we are, right, over there. I had to go to the local shopping centre recently. I got a problem with one of my eyes. I got hit in my eye a few years ago. I got hit in the eye with a firework and it detached my rectum. And I had to go to Boots the chemist, you know, to get it. My mate Kevin went with me, and Kevin said, he says, "You're 71 now, aren't you?" I said, "That's right." He said, "Well, you want to start thinking of going in there to Boots the chemist," he says, "and getting some Viagra." And I said, "Well, can you get it over the counter?" He said, "Well, you can if you take two." I went into W.H. Smith. I went to W.H. Smith, I'm at Maryhill, by us. And I said, excuse me, to the girl, I said, "Excuse me, but do you sell bereavement cards?" And she said, "Yes, we do." Well, I said, "Well, is it possible you can exchange this Get Well card I bought yesterday?" I got my missus some perfume from Debenhams. She's over the moon with it, she's great. It's called Ample. Then she noticed I'd crossed the S off the front and she was across the front. The sad thing, Maryhill Centre, if you haven't been, is a beautiful modern shopping centre. It's beautiful, you know. And the only thing is they've lowered the tone a little bit now because I opened one of these sex shops, which I don't really like, you know, at my age. And there was this old lady in the queue the other day. She was just in front of me, and she went up to the bloke on the counter and she said, "Excuse me," she said, "but do you sell vibrators, please?" And he says, "Yes, love." He said, "We've got stacks of them." He says, "Take your pick." And she says, "Oh, could I have that tartan one up there, please?" He said, "Oh, no, you can't have that." He said, "That's my flask." My missus bought one of these. My missus bought one of these vibrators from Amazon, you know. She'd only had it 3 weeks. It's knocked all the front teeth out. Terrible, it's terrible. And I mean, the cost of living, shooting up. It's you know, all you put your money into savings, you can't keep pace with the cost of living. Everything's going up. My wife started making love to me again now because she can't afford the batteries anymore. That's right. I don't know. Terrible. And I was up the Asda the other day. And why do the women all take the kids into Asda to smack them? I mean, I'm 71 now. When I look in the mirror in the morning, I really look an old bugger, you know, with all droopy cheeks and everything. And whenever I've got this low self-esteem, I go into the Asda at Maryhill and I look around and I think, I ain't such a bad-looking bloke after that. My dad used to pay for me when I was a little boy to go to the circus at Blackheath to see the tattooed lady, and now you've only got to walk up the bloody high street. That's right. Everywhere. I was in the queue at the checkout at Asda, and I felt ever so upset because this old lady, she must have been 87, 88, she keeled over and died right in front of me. And I felt ever so sad because she just bought one of these bags for life. But anyhow, let's do a nice little love song. It had to be, but now this love song has got a nice verse to it. I'll start off with a verse because I'm in a bit of a romantic mood. Oh, I don't get too much. Got to get the volume just right on this. Japanese guitar, though. Got to be careful with it. Why do I do just as you say? Why do I just give you your way? Why do I sigh? Why don't I try to forget? It must have been that something lovers call fate kept on saying I had to wait. I saw them all, just couldn't fall till we met. It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around, finally found somebody who could make me be true, could make me be blue, even be glad just to be sad, just thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be me. ones I've seen might never be mean, might never be cross, try to be boss, they wouldn't do. Nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you. It had to be you. It had to be you. You know it had to be you. Thank you. Right. Yeah. That last note was a bit higher than I expected. I nearly, my water's nearly broke on that one then. Should we do Sweet Georgia Brown? We're doing up-tempo now, one you all know. I mean, these are all tunes you know. They're all traditional favourites, I suppose. But I mean, you don't want stuff you don't know, do you? You want stuff you know, don't you? Well, I do anyhow. We don't get too complex, do we? That's the kid thing's simple. Here we are. You couldn't find anybody more simple than me, right? Yeah. Go on then. to music indeed. I'll tell you what we'll do, because I keep talking too much and it wastes a lot of time, so we can't get enough tunes in, can we? So we're going to feature the wonderful Mr. Pete Allen, who's going to do a little solo spot, so Dave and Martin can have a little bit of a break, and there you are. So you tell them all about it, Pete. You tell them everything.
Well, the first thing I'd like to say, ladies and gentlemen, is that you probably noticed I can't actually tuck this in. The thing is, before we got to the gig tonight, I put on a freshly ironed, clean shirt for these special occasions, because I've never worked with Bev before and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And so I arrived all in my fresh shirt and everything, and Bev brought in these polo shirts, you see, and unfortunately there's not one there quite my size. I need a fat one. But I've sussed it for next time, ladies and gentlemen. I have actually got a red polo shirt myself, and you may have noticed that Bev's name is missing off of this one. So I've got a red one I'm bringing next time, and if it's okay with Bev, it says Exodus City FC. Anyway, we're going to take you back to New Orleans, ladies and gentlemen, for this one. It's a little request, and it's a tune, little number that comes from the repertoire of Mr. George Lewis. It's called St. Phillips Street Breakdown.
Good grief, that was marvellous. We're going to calm down now, we're going to calm down. Actually, you know, I'm a bit worried. So a bloke said to me the other day, he said, do you know something? He said, your missus, he's having an affair over the road. And I said, is she? I said, who's doing the catering? We were at a party the other night, and she said, you see that bloke over there? I said, yeah. She said, he's been with every woman in our road but one. I said, who's the one, love? She said, I think it's the lady on the corner. I mean, you know, as I mentioned, I'm 71 now, and I mean, I said to the missus the other week, I said, now look, I could go any time. And I said, because my missus, Sheena, she's 8 years younger than me, and I said, when I'm gone, I don't mind, I want you to be happy. If you meet another bloke after a year or two and you get married again, I'll be very happy about that. But one thing, I said, I'd hate to think that he would wear any of my clothes. And she said, don't worry about that. She says they don't fit him. With Valentine's Day a few months ago, I went to buy some flowers. I went in this shop in Alzoin, and they got all these flowers in the window, and I said, I went in there, this girl came to me in a white tunic, and I said, can I have a bunch of flowers, please, for my wife? And she said, this isn't a flower shop. She said, this is a circumcision clinic. And I said, well, you've got flowers in the window. And she said, well, what would you like us to put in the window? We were having a go at it the other night. She says, you're taking your time, aren't you? And I said, I can't think of anybody. Actually, at my age now, I don't have to think she's somebody else. I have to think I'm somebody else. That's right. It's going to be terrible. And I mean, I don't know, one or two of you know about this. I told you a few years ago about this, but because a few years ago they opened this new doctor's surgery in Hagley. Because I mean, I don't live in Craigleith now, I live in Hagley, which is very posh. So we have the big issue delivered to us, you know. Really right. Yes, I moved to Hagley for tax purposes, actually. And they've opened this new doctor's surgery, and they're computerised, you see. And I thought, oh, it's great. Because in the old days, you'd go in about 9 o'clock and everybody would be there. It'd be a hell of a lot. Everybody's sneezing, coughing over you. You'd come out in a worse health situation than you were when you went in. And anyhow, I went in, I booked an appointment at 5 to 10, which I quite like because the doctor's hands are warmed up, you know. And most of the rabble have gone then. And I went into the surgery. I went to this new surgery. And as I walked in, I thought, oh, great, there's nobody here. And there's just one other person opposite me. And so I was waiting to see the doctor. And when I looked up at this other person, which was a beautiful girl, about 25 years old, with a baby, a newborn baby in her arms. And she did something that blokes of my era, you know, being a war baby, you know, they didn't do in the 40s and 50s, but she started to breastfeed this baby in front of me, you know, and I got very embarrassed, and I averted my eyes, and I picked up this book from the doctor's surgery table and read about it, you know. The bloody Falklands War, that's terrible, isn't it? And then the light came over on the doctor's door, and she looked at me, she said, you're next. And I said, well, thanks ever so much. I said, well, I've got to go see the doctor now. And I'll tell you the truth. Oh dear, I got a bad cough tonight. And I went into the doctor, because I'll tell you why I went to the doctor, and it's a bit personal this, but has anybody ever had the piles? Because I had the piles, you see, and I didn't go right away, because I remember my mother used to tell me that you don't need to go to the doctor and have injections or pills, because you can have a herbal cure if you've got the piles. And she said, what you need to do is to rub tea leaves on your bottom when you get up in the morning, and tea leaves on your bottom before you go to bed at night. So I went into Sainsbury's and I got the best tea, not the Thai food tips. I got the bloody Yorkshire tea, best Yorkshire tea, and I rubbed that on my bottom for about a week, you know, in the morning when I got up, and then I went to bed and did it again, and it did actually reduce the soreness, you know, the redness, the swelling of that, but it didn't cure it completely. So I thought I'd better go to the doctors to make sure. So I went into the doctors and he said, right, what can I do for you? And I said, well, I think I've got the piles, doctor. And he said, right. He said, well, take your trousers off and your pants and bend over and I'll have a look, I'll examine you. So I was bent over like this. And it seemed like ages, you know, it's only a few seconds, but it seemed like ages, you know, you don't know what's going to happen when you're bent down like that. And I was, with my vivid imagination, I was imagining his arms going on my shoulders, you know. But no, it wasn't like that. But I was bent over and I said, can you see anything, doctor? He said, well, not yet. He said, well, I'll tell you one thing, you're going to go on a long journey soon. Anyhow, look, we're going to play a couple of numbers then. We're going to play a couple of numbers because to be honest, I mean, I'm starting to get on my own nerves a little bit now. So we're going to play a couple of numbers and then we're going to bugger off home. So simple as that. Because I mustn't be late tonight because my wife is ill at home with laryngitis and obviously I don't want to miss that. So here we go. And also, I've got at Hagley Hall near me. I've got this part-time job cleaning out the livery stables, you know, and I've got if I don't get back, my work starts to pile up as well. So we're going to do a number that's written by Kid Ory and recorded on the 13th of December 1927 to be specific. Here we go. So, right, Savoy Blues. Veasey on the trombone. All right. Let's change instruments. One sec. Un momento. Right. It's got very quiet here. You've got some CDs, haven't you? Sorry? You shouldn't put your CDs on. Oh, don't worry, mate. No. Right. Pete Allen's got some CDs, so if anybody wants any. So he's got some around the back. I forgot to tell him before. Then, yeah, there we are. 7,300. Oh, hang on, right. I've got to put it in. Pretty sweet, this. Right, so this is the last number, which we did last year actually, but somebody did request it, so I mean, it's very often we get requests, I'll tell you. So, so this is the number that Bobby Troup wrote in 1943, Route 66. I've told you all about that, haven't I? It was written, yes? No?
Yeah, yes.
They know it. Well, no, I'll just give you, but this is a true story of how it was written. Bobby Troup lived in Philadelphia, and he realised that in the late 30s, early 40s, that all the money was being made in California at Hollywood, and he wanted to write songs and make money, obviously, you know, and there wasn't much chance where he was. So he decided to drive from Philadelphia right across the United States, and he, I forgot now what happened. Anyhow, there was him and his wife, not his wife, no, there was him and his girlfriend, and he was in the summer, very hot, like it is in Las Vegas today, and it was very hot, and they were driving up through Philadelphia, and they were driving up Route 40 from Philadelphia through New York State, which you do, and she said, I don't speak American here. She said, you are write a song called Route 40. Is that authentic? And he said, oh, come on, honey. He said, we're going to be on Route 66 soon. So that's that. And then they got onto Route 66 just below Chicago, and they started to drive all the way down Route 66. And he was really roasting hot, and he got his hood down on his, I think it was a Pontiac. Or it might have been a DeSoto or a Plymouth or Chevy, I'm not quite sure now, but he got the hood down on it, and as they were driving down Route 66, she put her head on his shoulder, hang on, left-hand drive, she put her head on his shoulder. I nearly got it wrong there. She put her head on his shoulder, and she said, get your kicks on Route 66, and she went to sleep. And he was driving all the way along, and he was thinking, that's a great title for a song, and he started thinking, and when he got to California, he'd virtually written it in his mind, and he jotted it down, and he gave it to an agent, and they gave it to Nat King Cole, who had a great big hit with it, you see. And then he ditched this girl, and he married Julie London. So that's not very nice, is it? So that's the story of that. And actually, Roy Parry, Judith knows Roy Parry, but there's not many of you know Roy Parry. Roy Parry plays bass with us, with our country band and rock and roll bands and those. But he went out with Julie London's niece. That's right. I wish Roy was here today. You'd like Roy. He's a nice chap. He actually, when he was touring the UK, he actually shared a bedroom with Larry Grayson. Around that. Anyhow, here we come. Route 6. We're going to go into that stuff. I mean, Ken had enough trouble. As I said, Ken used to work at the BBC, and I mean, he used to be a big mate of Jimmy Savile and Gary Clinton.
Even my apprentice.
There we go, right. Oh, hang on. I don't know how to work these. Right. We're going to have 24 bars, 24 bars from our wonderful pianist Roger Heeley. It's in the key of B flat. Right. 1, 2, 3. Stop! I forgot something. Look, this is the last number. We're going to go in a few minutes. So I forgot to do the most important thing. We'd like to say a big good night to Pete Allen on the clarinet. Leithead on the trumpet. Martin Veasey trombone. Pearman on the drums. Len Thwaites on the bass. And last but not least, we're going to give us 24 bars. Hang on, I've said that before. What are you going to do? The beginning. You've been a lovely audience, I'll tell you that. A lovely audience. If you weren't, if you weren't, I'd tell you. You don't really, but nobody books us twice anyway, so you don't really. So anyhow, over to Roger Heeley on piano. Yes. 1, 2, 3. The border west, travel my way, it's the highway that's the best. Get your kids on Route 66. Well, it winds from Chicago to LA, more than 2,000 miles on the way. Get your kids on Route 66. To St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, Oklahoma City looks mighty pretty. See you in the low. Now what's New Mexico? That's the Arizona, don't forget Arizona, King, Boston, San Francisco. You get hit to this kind of tip when you make that California trip. Get your kids on Route 66. the motor wheel. Travel my way, it's the highway that's the best. I get your kick on Route 66. Well, it's one from Chicago to LA. More than 2,000 miles on the way. Get your kick on Route 66. Well, you go to St. Louis, in Missouri, Oklahoma City looks. See how the rain looks. Get your kick on Route 66. I did get your kick on Route 66. Good night, thanks for coming. See you again. Good night, thank you.